Hey guys. So today I figured we would talk about best practices and what to do in your first 30, 60, 90 days of becoming a realtor. People become realtors for the flexibility, the extra income. If you're doing this as a side hustle or a part time gig, what people don't understand is how much work actually goes into becoming successful in real estate and actually selling a property. You can't just get your license and, you know, just deals fall in your lap. That's not how it is. Unfortunately, some people get lucky for their first, second, or third deal, but for you to have some type of longevity, if you're looking to create this as a business, the work does have to go in daily as far as prospecting. So, calling people, meeting people in person, door knocking, however that looks for you, and then also follow up. The fruit is in the follow up. The gold is in the follow up. The success is in the follow up. You will hear that time and time again throughout any real estate mastermind you have, any conference you go to, any class you go to. It really happens in the follow up. And the reason why is because nobody will just say, hey, yeah, let's go buy a house when you first meet them or when you first approach them about buying or selling a house. Now, you can get lucky, like I said. However, it doesn't have longevity. You cannot create a business out of just getting luck, you know? So the fruit is in the follow up because people will do business with somebody that follows up with them 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Now, the follow up doesn't always have to be you consistently doing the 7 follow ups, but it can be automated. So it can be your CRM doing some follow up. It could be, a dialer or an auto text feature doing the follow up. It doesn't always have to be you in the trenches. You can automate a good portion of it, but it does take you picking up the phone and calling those people and following up and saying, hey, how's it going? It does need that human touch system still. So what I'm going to share with you today is what we used to onboard agents onto our team when we were at Keller Williams. Now, the process has changed a little bit as far as onboarding, just for the time being. However, this structure really helped agents, especially agents that need that structure, that need that help, that accountability. It helped them a lot because you knew exactly what you needed to do in your first 30 days, in your first 60 days, and in your first 90 days. That way you could be a successful agent going into real estate, especially if you are completely brand new. So I'm going to share my screen. And then also another thing that we're going to talk about is pretty much a year-long plan, how you can reverse engineer your numbers, how you can take what you want to make this year, next year, whatever your goals are. You look at your year and you say, I want to make X amount this year. So then from that number, we reverse engineer it and we put it onto what's called a 1-3-5 plan. Yes, I got this from Keller Williams. So I still use Keller Williams tools because they serve their purpose. So we take it into a 1-3-5 plan. And then from the 1-3-5 plan, then we can divide that up. So our yearly goal, then we divide it up into weeks. And on a weekly basis, you know how to go in or what to do on a daily, like from your weeks, you divide that up by days. And now you know exactly what you need to do day in and day out. And there is no question. You have an outline to your business. You know exactly what you need to do every single day, and you don't have to guess. So I think these tools are very, very helpful, especially for a newer agent, because it gets you into production fairly quickly. So I'm going to share my screen. And first we're going to talk about, let's see what pops up first. So first we're going to talk about the 30, 60, and 90 plans. Don't worry about all this at the top. This is just what we used to give them. but the 30-day goal. So this is what it looks like in your first 30 days and how you need to, what work you need to put in, what you can or cannot do. So usually this was like a non-negotiable for our team members that were joining. These are what they needed to do, and they agreed to this prior to joining our team. So if you want to take this and implement it into your own day-to-day, it will get you into production fairly quickly. So you'll have closings in the next 2 months if you implement this. You just have to make sure that you set the time aside and you time block it and you put it into your schedule. So the first requirement was to do at least 2 hours daily, so Monday to Friday, of prospecting. It could be from, I used to tell them it could be from 9 to 11, or it could be from 4 to 6. Just know that these 2 hours are non-negotiable. So they stay consistent. They cannot change. And if they do change one day because you have an emergency or you get sick or whatever it is, make sure that if they are changing, that you're adding them on sometime during the rest of the week. So let's say if I can't, prospect for whatever reason, my daughter gets sick on Wednesday, then I need to take those 2 hours and I need to add them on to a Thursday and Friday. That way I'm still fulfilling the 2 hours that I needed for that day. Now, the reason why you are being so strict and regimented about this is not because we're trying to micromanage. It was to build the habit and the accountability into going into your prospecting. If you're not putting in time to prospect, you will not get results. That's the way it is. Can you miss 2 weeks and still get results? Sure. But are you building that habit if you're going to miss 2 weeks or 2 days just for no reason? No, you're not going to build that habit. The habit takes time and it takes consistency. People always ask me, how are you so disciplined? You're disciplined because you put in the time to build the habits. So 2 hours a day, and I used to say contact at least 10 people per day and send a handwritten note or a follow-up email once you've contacted those 10 people. Now, what that does is it gives them another touch point. So you've contacted this person, they've said, hey, I'm not really interested, but I would love to share your information or whatever it is, let's say it's your sphere. Great, awesome. I will send you a follow-up email with all of my information. Handwritten notes go a long way. Handwritten notes are never expected. People love getting handwritten notes. And I can tell you this personally because when I write handwritten notes, I get these messages from people that are just like, oh my gosh, this was so thoughtful. I've never, received anything like this. Nobody in this day and age is writing a handwritten note. They're just not. People are not taking the time to do these little practices. And because they're not taking time to do these little practices, you are setting yourself apart from other people that they possibly know. And they'll make sure to reach out to you if they ever need anything. I guarantee you this has worked for me time and time again. So what can you do to kind of, now I look at this and I say, if this is somebody that is going into real estate that also has a full-time job, how can they take this and make it work for them? Well, instead of doing 10 contacts a day, work on building up to at least 5 contacts a day. If you can talk to 5 people a day, once you get into real estate, let them know who you are, what you do now. You switch careers, or you're getting into this career and it's so awesome. Let them know about real estate. They're going to ask you, how's the market? So you need to make sure that you've also brushed up on what's going on in the market right now. Oh, market is kind of slow, what market's hot, whatever it is. You need to know your market before you get on these calls, because these people will ask you about the market. And if you don't know, it's going to look like you're not the expert. So make sure that you're also brushing up on market stats, on trends, look up what's going on in the real estate market in the news. So make sure that you put this on your calendar though. You want to make sure that you put this on the calendar, because if it's not on your calendar, it does not exist and you will not get to it. But work your way up to 5 leads or 5 contacts a day. If you can do 5 contacts a day consistently every week, and build up to a month of doing 5 contacts a day, The following month, take it up to 10 contacts a day and see if you can do it. Sometimes it is hard. It will be hard to go from that 5 to even 7. But if you challenge yourself and you have somebody else hold you accountable, I guarantee you will do it. So when I first wanted to do this and get myself into production, I got with my, at the time, team leader, and I said, hey, if I don't hit these contacts, and if I report this to you and I don't hit these contacts, I am giving you $100 check every single week that I don't hit it. I didn't have $100 to write. So I didn't want to write a $100 check. So I made sure that I got my contacts in. That's how bad I wanted it. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it for yourself? Do you need me to hold you accountable and do the same thing? What is your pain point? If your pain point is, you know, if you really love getting your nails done every week, and if you don't hit your contacts, you can't get your nails done, that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt some people. Or, you know, whatever it is that you do for yourself, or whatever it is that's going to hurt you in your pocket, you have to have that pain point in order for you to decide on whether you really, really want this and you're going to go after it, or you're going to have to pay the price of not doing that. So this is where the commitment piece comes in. So instead of starting off at 10, now this was for somebody that was in full-time real estate. They are full-time. They have the hours to dedicate, the 9 to 11. Their kids are at school. If you've got kids, they've got nothing else to do between 9 to 11. That is their time that they have dedicated to getting to 10 people. And I guarantee you can find 10 people. Trust me. I can show you many different ways if you are brand new in real estate and how to find 10 people for free. It does not have to be subscribing to any leads, doing anything like that. It will be for free. So start off with 5. If you could do 5 and follow up every single 5 contacts that you have made and send them a handwritten note or an email, I guarantee you will convert people in the first 30 days. So now, what are contacts? Because people always tell me, oh yeah, I contacted 5 people. I said, did you speak to these people, or you called them and left a voicemail? Because that's different. That's not a contact when you call somebody and they didn't pick up and you sent them a voicemail or sent them a text and they haven't written back. A contact is somebody you actually had a conversation with, someone that you have told them who you are, what you are doing now, what your new career is, and that you want to help them. Ask them out to lunch or whatever to catch up, whatever you want to say. But that is a contact, somebody that you have spoken to. Let them know that you are now in real estate and let them know that you can help them. And if they've asked you about real estate, great, but it's somebody you had an actual dialogue with. So we're doing that daily, Monday to Friday, for 2 hours out of the day, or until however long it takes you to get to that 5th contact. So if it takes you 2.5 hours, you're putting in 2.5 hours. If it takes you 3 hours, you're putting in 3 hours. But it's going to take you as long as it needs to take you to get to that 5th contact. So challenge yourself and see if you can get to 5 contacts a day. The next thing that we did was broke down their personal and business plan. So how we did this was through the 135 that I was telling you about. We took their yearly goal, we broke it down, we saw what they wanted to do yearly, and we broke it down and reverse engineered it for them to show them what they need to do on a daily basis to get to that goal. And sometimes when we did that and I showed them what they needed to do on a daily basis, just by statistics and numbers, they were kind of like, oh, wow, that's a lot. Let me peel back. So I need to contact 20 people a day to make $100,000 in a year. Okay, that's too much. And I don't know if I'm going to get to that, but let me work my way up. So then let me go to 50,000 a year. Like I would always get 100,000. That was the first answer. And then they would peel back and say, well, how about 50,000? Can I do that? And so then we would tailor it to whatever they wanted to make. It's all about your own personal goals. We all get into real estate to have our own business. So it's all about us showing you what you need to do to make the money that you want to make. And then we would have them add their sphere of influence list of 100 names to a Google spreadsheet. You can use your own Google spreadsheets and just write 100 people that you know. I guarantee you know at least 100 people, or you know of somebody that knows of somebody. So I usually go into my Facebook and I pull these names, and it's super easy because everybody's got more than 100 people on their Facebook and or Instagram or whatever it is. So I pull these names and I put them into there. And you just got to keep thinking, who do I know that is like, once you've gotten all your friends and family, then start thinking, who's my lawn care guy? Who's my dentist? Who's my daughter's dentist? Who's my daughter's physician? And all of these things. So all these people are a sphere of influence. You know them, you've talked to them. It doesn't have to be a close friend. It could just be somebody that you know. So this is your 100 list. You're going to take that list and you're going to put it on a spreadsheet. And then you're going to import that list into KV Core. So we've got KV Core free for us at EXP. You're going to import that list into KV Core. Make sure you're including your phone numbers, or their phone numbers, their emails and home addresses if you can get that, or if you have that. And then another thing that they're doing within the first 30 days is what's called a Facebook exercise, and adding their METs into a Google spreadsheet. So let's break this down. So the Facebook exercise, and I can share this with you, is right here. If you click on this video, it's going to show you what the Facebook exercise is. And if you click this, you have an easy script of exactly what to say. So you're going into people's Facebook Messenger and you're messaging them. So it is not invasive. You don't have to worry about making phone calls, and it's super easy because you're just copy pasting and sending to different people. This was the easiest way to get me into production. I did this consistently for like 2 years, and I guarantee you it'll get you into production too. So now what we had them do after that is make an intro call to their 100 sphere of influence people with this script. So there's a script here. You can watch the video with the script here. And gather any missing information. So if you don't know their property address or their home address, and you just kind of want to have that, just say, hey, I've got actually this really cool feature on, my database, and it can actually send you what your property value is on a monthly basis. Would you like me to send that over to you, or whatever it is? And that's how I got the home addresses, is I was giving them free property home values. So there's a script for that, and there's a way to watch. Now, this 100 does not have to be done in one day, but this could be part of your 5 people that you're reaching out to every single day. So you've got 5 people that you can talk to, on a consistent basis, as long as you've got the 100 people in your sphere of influence list. And then we did writing a sphere of influence announcement letter, and we stuffed those and sent those by mail. And if you'd like to do that, here's an example of how the letter is. I no longer do that, but if you did, it's right here for you. Then we created the 411 and the 135. That's the yearly goal broken down into weekly and daily goals. And I can show you a copy of what ours looks like. You can watch the 135 video here too. Now, if you are a solo agent, this might be a little bit harder for you to shadow people, but if you have a mentor at EXP, you can always ask the mentor and see if they've got time for you to shadow them on buyer consultations, with buyer showings, with inspections, listing appointments, open houses, if you have any that you want to do. But shadow people in your first 30 days. You can, if you want to, do it on your own, as far as like an open house and all the buyer consultations and stuff. But I always recommend shadowing, just because it will help you kind of figure out what the lingo is. And even if you can't shadow somebody, like let's say that person, like for me, I do a lot of my things like virtually, so we don't always like shadow in person. But even if you have like a buyer consultation that you want to do, and you want, someone to come along, you can always ask them, hey, can you come along and just say, so-and-so, like, you are my partner, you're my business partner, and we're doing this together. And that way that person can kind of take the lead and show you how to do a buyer consultation properly, or a listing consultation, or a showing, or whatever it is. So then after that, we're picking an active listing on the MLS, and then we're running comps on it for a prospective buyer. Now, we taught this, and we then gave them the video instructions of what to do. And, we had them go through the process on their own after we showed them how to do it. We want to do this to create the habit for them so that they can do it on their own. And that way, when they do have a buyer, the buyer is ready to make an offer. The buyer is always going to ask you, how much do you think we should offer? And so then at that point, you've got to run comps and see, well, I think this home is worth this. And, maybe you should offer this. And so we go through that whole training session. So what I would do is make sure that you know how to run comps from a property on the MLS. And then they held at least 2 open houses during that first month. They went to any classes that at the time it was KW, but here EXP classes, they are all day, all week. So attend at least 1 class a week. Attend the masterminds. Masterminds are great because it gets you to be a fly on the wall, to hear what other people are saying about what's going on in the market, how they've built their businesses. It's great conversation for you to get in that realm of real estate, and for you to kind of, start your research and how to get you into production as well. The lingo and all of that is very, very important. And then we picked an expired listing on the MLS and completed a full listing packet. And in the first 30 days, they read the MREA, which is the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. Highly recommend you read that too. And then the 60th, the next 30 days after that, so their first 60 days, they were still completing 2 hours of prospecting. They did a practice buyer consultation. They shadow the lead agent on writing and presenting an offer, because that's important too. They set up and showed buyers homes, and they provided feedback and communicated with the lead agent. They are now reporting their numbers daily. They held 2 open houses and attended EXP classes and masterminds. They now started going into practicing scripts and dialogues, which actually that is also in the first 30 days. So I'm sorry, I missed this, and I don't know why it's not here, but you want to practice your scripts and dialogues. Super, super important, because if you're not practicing off the phone and, with an actual client, you're going to be practicing with an actual client if you're not practicing your scripts and dialogue off record. So you want to make sure that you do that for at least 15 minutes, 3 times a week. At least I would go every single morning. There was scripts and dialogues for us at the office from 8:30 to 9:30. And I would go every single morning. So, get with a partner and practice scripts and dialogue. If that's something that you want to do, reach out to me if you want to set that up with me. And then by now they know what their 411 is, and they know how to update and share it. So they've updated and shared it with us on a weekly basis. So every Monday morning at 9 a.m. By the 60th day, or by the next 2 months, they had 1 property under contract on the 61st day. They're still doing MLS runs, MLS comp runs. So they're still going through and practicing those skills. And once the comps are approved, they put a complete offer together and submit it to our director of ops. That's just practice for them to get good at doing these activities. So 1 pending transaction, and they also read the book, The One Thing. Great book by Gary Keller. In their 90th day, they are still doing most of the same activities, and they have at least 2 properties under contract by the 90th day, and they're holding 2 open houses monthly. They're still attending EXP classes and masterminds, and they've read the 7 Levels of Communication book, which is an awesome, awesome book. I highly recommend you get it just for yourself. And so this is pretty much a great outline. I can share it with you guys if you'd like. It's a great outline to get you into production. That way you are one, you need to know what your goals are. Two, you need to work backwards from those goals. And three, you need to just get in action. Now, a copy of our 135, this is a copy. So it breaks it down into annual goals. So that we go to the annual goals, then we get broken down into monthly goals. And then from those monthly goals, what are our weekly goals? And then what do we do on a weekly basis? So this is how you reverse engineer something. So if I want to do $13.5 million in sales volume, that's 375,000 in gross commission income, not including splits, not including anything. This is just what I've grossed. And that equals 45 transactions. So this is my annual goals. This is what I want to make. Now, if I break that down by month, I need to have 4 transactions pending from me and 3 transactions pending from my agent, because I have 1 agent on the team. From including the monthly goals, I have a newsletter that I want to send out on a monthly basis. So I need to make sure that my newsletter is getting sent out. We also are doing gratitude notes. So from September to November, we're doing gratitude notes. We're sending out 10 notes a day. So 10 grateful notes. I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much for believing in my business. I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much for introducing me to so-and-so. Those are the gratitude notes. There is a Facebook group on Facebook. Michael Mayer, who is the author of 7 Levels of Communication. He has a Facebook group called Generosity Generation or something along those lines. It's called the Gen Movement. And he talks a lot about these gratitude notes and what they've done for people. And if you go onto there, if you read the book, it talks about gratitude notes. And it is one of the best ways that you can connect to your database, to your sphere. These people will never expect it. And it's so genuine. And because they don't expect it, I think it throws people off and it makes them feel good about getting a gratitude note. So another monthly goal is to find an admin or a virtual assistant. So these are personal goals for me. And then down here, we are following the database contact schedule. So we're on week 8. What is the database contact schedule? I made last week a video about the DTD2 system. So it tells us which week, who we contact. So we're in week 8. So we could just go to week 8 and we say, okay, we're contacting, whatever the letters are, K and W, or, whatever it is. So if you remember those initials, like the 2 initials, so we're going in and we're contacting those people on week 1. We're creating our monthly newsletter. We're emailing our Rockstar group with the monthly giveaway. And then we're scheduling 5 appointments for Zoom or in-person buyers and sellers. So we've got 5 that we need to schedule on a weekly basis. So we're not only talking to 5, 10, 15 people a day, but we're doing this so that we can get at least 5 appointments. If we can get 5 appointments booked a week, then we can hit our 45 transactions. All we need is 5 appointments booked. So you're going to first start off with getting to at least 5 contacts made. But 5 contacts made does not mean 5 appointments. 5 contacts made just means 5 contacts, 5 people you've spoken to. You still have to go in afterwards, after a few months, and start then looking at how can I get these people that I'm speaking to meet with me for a buyer or seller consultation, not to meet with me for lunch, not to meet with me for drinks. That's not going to convert to business. It's great for building a relationship, but right now, business, you need to focus on buyer and seller appointments. So we have that goal. Then we have our 10 note cards a day, 5 to Pat's clients, and database, and 5 to referral partners. So we've got a huge referral network, and so this breaks down our week. So now we know every single day what we need to do, who we need to go into, what we need to do on a daily basis. If you'd like, I can share the outline of this as well. But that is pretty much it for today and what we're going to talk about. Next week, we will talk more about conversion and how to get into production. So we talk about starting off with 5 contacts, and then we're going to build up from the 5 contacts. I'm going to show you how you can go from having 5 contacts a day to then booking 1 buyer or seller consultation a day, because that's where the money comes in. Hope this helps. And if you have any questions, if you need anything shared, let me know. Talk to you later.